In this video, I'm going to be updating the C64OS from version 1.03 to version 1.04, which is listed as the multimedia release. And what that means is that it can now play CGFX files and PetskiBot type file extensions, which are animations. But that's not really what I'm interested in. I'm more interested in version 1.05, which is the fast app switching release. That is to say that C64OS now supports the REU for the Commodore 64. But before we get started, I wanted to make sure that we do a backup of the OS folder, which is on the SD card, and copy it over into the temp folder. This is a safeguard in case anything goes wrong during either of the two upgrades that we're about to perform. And you can see this does take a couple of seconds, but not very long. And then after we've done the backup, what we want to do is go to the C64OS website. Now notice that you can save money right now during the holidays. And we want to download. You go to the C64OS software updates page and then download version 1.04 and 1.05. Now it's important to know, in order to upgrade to 1.04, you must be on version 1.03, and that's what this little section here is showing. So you download that, and then once you have that, you download the 1.05 update. Notice you have to be on 1.04, so we have to do these synchronously in order. And then simply copy them over to your SD card. And that's what I'm trying to show here. I'm just going to copy and paste them into the root of the SD card. You notice I already have versions 1, 2, and 3 sitting there. And then now we're ready to go ahead and run the update. So what we'll do now is we'll go ahead and boot into C64OS to start the update process. Now I have my SD to IEC set to device 9, so I keep doing that little command to switch it to device 9 at the beginning. Now before doing any of our updates, it does take about 16-17 seconds to start C64OS. And what we'll want to do is confirm that what version we're on, and here it's showing that we're on version 1.03. And now the manual says all you really have to do is navigate over to the file manager and then just double click the update that you're trying to run. And so that's what I'm going to do right here. Right here. So what we're going to do is navigate to the root of the SD to IEC drive. And it's always a little confusing, like which one do I click right there. And then you'll notice versions 1.01, 0.02, 03, 04, and 05. I'm double clicking 1.04 to run. And this process does take a bit of time. It takes about 5 minutes to run this. So I did speed it up in this little 10-second montage or so. It's sped up times 28. After that's finished, what you'll want to do is reboot C64OS. You can use the hotkey or you can use the menu option to quit to basic. And then reload it. And then again, it does take, without the fast loading, it takes about 17 seconds to load into the operating system. I did notice here on 1.04, looks roughly the same as 1.03 as it boots up. And then once here, we want to switch back to the app switcher, the app launcher, excuse me. And then check our version to confirm that we're actually in 1.04. I don't really have a way of showing the features of 1.04 because I don't have any of those three-dimensional graphics or those PetskiBot type graphics that I could demonstrate. But you'll see here that we are on version 1.04. And so the next step, I thought, why not just jump right ahead and go back and double click to install 1.05. But here I ran into an issue when running 1.05. It comes back with file not found. And I had to reach out on Discord to figure out why it was doing that, or to figure out the workaround. And thankfully, the creator of C64OS got back to me and just said, what about trying it from the utilities menu, the installer from the utilities? And so that's what I did to try to get this working. I tried multiple times to just double click that 1.05 and I kept getting the file not found. I tried rebooting, I tried a few different things, and it kept coming back with that error message, unfortunately. So like I said, the workaround is to start up the program installer. And to do that, you just go up here to utilities. At least this is where I found it. And then just double click that. And then this sort of works, you kind of move it out of the way and then navigate to where you're looking to which program you want to install. And then click on the CAR file that you want to install. And then it pops it up, 1.05, and then all you have to do is click install. And then again, I sped this up. I think this took 6 minutes to run, and it's also sped up about 28 speed. Now that the installer has finished, it's the same steps as 1.04. You want to go ahead and quit back to basic and reload the software. And then here, notice it says 1.05 right there. And then also on 1.05, I noticed the difference here where it says, it has a little message up there, manage files, open documents. And that seems, I think it changes. I'm not sure. I thought I saw that. But I noticed that message shows there. And then if we go back to the app launcher, we can confirm that the version is in fact 1.05. Let's look right there, a place to get started. So it does kind of change the message there, which I think is showcasing Greg's personality a little bit. Notice it says 1.05. And so now I thought, oh, I wonder if fast switching works automatically. So I did try, but it doesn't. So in the manual, it says you have to go and you have to run the configure utility in order to configure the fast app switching. So you run this command right here. I misread the instructions in the manual. You don't want to say /configure at the end. So that was a small faux pas. And then here, this will start up the configuration for C64OS. And this will let you configure everything, like the date and time, your mouse. When I first ran through this, I didn't select the correct options for mouse, so my wheel mouse stopped working. So this is like the third time of me actually running through this. And I did select normal for mouse there. But then when I get down to the fast switching for the expansion memory, I just hit minus here to get to the max, 31 slots, 1984 kilobytes. And then I pretty much left everything else the default. But for the IEC, I did option 3. And then for the pointer, I did option 3 for my micro MS or Mouster, because I'm using a third-party mouse tool. And then you can boot into C64OS. Clearly, you have to have the REU enabled, or you have to if you're using a Commodore 64 Ultimate like I am, or you have to have an REU plugged into your Commodore 64 in order for this to work. And so right away, the first thing that I wanted to try was an example that Gregory used. I was looking for the app that he was running. Yeah, the usage app. And this is a new feature in C64OS, that little utility, or he expanded it to have the tabs. And then as I switch over to the File Explorer, and then the idea was just to see how fast it switched back and forth. And it's much quicker. Look, it keeps the app running. And so that was real time. It was not sped up. And then also it saves a copy of C64OS in memory, and you can quit to basic. You can go out on your Ultimate and run another program. And so that's what I was trying to do here, was just go ahead and load up. It didn't really matter. It might matter, but I just loaded up a 4K program that I wrote a while back called Amazing Race. And then go into the Ultimate 64, reboot it, and then start C64OS again. Was the idea to see if it would in fact fast load as promised. And then sure enough, look how fast that started. And just like he demonstrated on some of his videos on the C64OS YouTube channel, which I will link in the description. So that is my video for the day. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you on the next Gray Defender video.